why detachment is really about eliminating doubt, not letting go of the goal. This video presents the core teaching behind the Rapid Alignment Method, a breakthrough coaching process created by mindset coach T.D. McKenzie. Clients from around the world use this method to permanently shift their identity into the state of the wish fulfilled in just one 45-minute session. In today's video, I want to talk about something that causes more confusion than almost anything else in manifestation: the idea of detachment. You've probably heard people say, just detach from the outcome, or you have to let go if you want it to come. But what never gets explained honestly is what detachment actually means and why it matters. So today, I want to clear this up in the simplest, most truthful way. Here's the core insight. Detachment has nothing to do with letting go of the goal. It's about letting go of the emotional reason you think you need the goal. And that emotional reason always traces back to one thing: doubt. People don't desire outcomes because they genuinely need them. They desire outcomes because they believe the outcome will remove a feeling they don't want to feel: insecurity, fear, inadequacy, or lack. When you eliminate the doubt, the emotional grasping dissolves. Suddenly, you're not attached to the goal as a form of relief. You simply accept it as yours. And that's the real meaning of detachment. Detachment isn't a technique. It's not a ritual, a meditation, or a 7-day process. It's not a complicated practice. It is the natural emotional state that emerges once doubt is gone. When you no longer doubt that the outcome is yours, you no longer crave it. You no longer reach for it. You no longer use it to patch an emotional hole. You simply assume it as already done. This is where many people get misled. They're told to detach by letting go, by distracting themselves, by waiting patiently, or by ignoring their desire. But those techniques often create even more attachment because the focus is still on the outcome and the fear of not having it. Every technique becomes a subtle reminder that you don't have what you want, and that doubt continues unconsciously. Let's get honest for a moment. When someone says, "I'm trying to detach," what they really mean is, "I'm trying to stop caring so the thing will finally happen." But that's not detachment. That is bargaining with your own doubt. True detachment happens automatically when your mind accepts the outcome as a fact, not a wish, not a hope, not a maybe. Once the doubt dissolves, there is nothing left to cling to because the inner conflict is gone. You're no longer trying to chase the result. You're living from it. Here's the radical shift. You can't detach from the outcome until you detach from the emotional reason you think you need it. And the only way to dissolve that emotional need is by dissolving doubt. Once doubt is gone, there is no emotional tension, no grasping, no fear. The desire transforms into a quiet inner certainty, the kind of certainty where your mind feels the outcome as natural and obvious. Most of the long, dramatic techniques that are taught, the multi-step rituals, the intense scripting sessions, the endless visualizations, are not solving the core issue. They're treating symptoms, not causes. They distract people with activity instead of teaching them how to dissolve doubt directly. The result is a cycle of spiritual busywork that feels productive but creates no real internal shift. People end up thinking detachment is something you do. But detachment is not an action. It's a byproduct. It is the emotional state that arises once your mind accepts your desired reality as already true. Think about times when you were certain about something. You weren't attached. You weren't desperate. You weren't waiting. You weren't questioning how or when. You simply lived from the state of knowing. That's detachment. That's what people are trying to achieve through techniques, but techniques can't give you that. Only certainty can. This is why detachment becomes simple once the real cause is understood. You detach when the doubt is gone. You detach when the outcome no longer carries emotional weight because your mind already considers it done. The goal stops being a place you're trying to reach and becomes a state you're living from internally. Here's the empowering truth. You don't need to detach from the goal. You only need to detach from the idea that the goal will fix something inside you. Once that illusion drops, your desire becomes clean. It becomes light. It becomes peaceful. And that peaceful desire is the sign of certainty, not craving. This also redefines the entire emotional landscape of manifestation. Most people chase outcomes because their mind is trying to escape something: anxiety, fear, lack, insecurity. When doubt is eliminated, you stop viewing your goal as a solution. You view it as a natural expression of who you already are. That's the difference between wanting and having. That's the difference between craving and certainty. True detachment isn't passive. It isn't numb. It isn't letting go in the way it's commonly taught. True detachment is the emotional atmosphere of someone who already knows. When you reach that internal place, actions feel natural. Decisions feel obvious. Resistance quiets down. You no longer waste time checking, hoping, comparing, or questioning. The need disappears, and when the need disappears, the emotional conflict disappears too. This is what frees your mind to accept the result now, instead of chasing it later. So if you've been told to detach from the outcome, here's the real message. You don't need to detach from the thing you want. You need to detach from the reason you think you want it. Solve the doubt underneath, and detachment takes care of itself. Now, imagine knowing, without a doubt, that your goals and dreams are already yours, and being able to live from that state right now. This isn't about learning more techniques or following complicated steps. It's about triggering a state where your inner conviction is unshakable, and your energy naturally flows toward your goals. Click the link in the description to watch a short video that shows exactly how the rapid alignment coaching session works and why it can create a transformation in just 45 minutes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.